buzzing on me.
Lois Lane. Welcome to Comics League Dark. I am Jared. I am here with Robert. What's up, my brother?
Yo, what up?
And today we are talking about Thor's back, baby. So
among other things.
So what do you want to talk about next?
Lady Loki, because that's what I've been playing through today.
All right. So here's a cool thing, guys. So Marvel Rivals is adding Lady Loki as a skin for Loki. Now, here's the important thing that this does. This opens the door to like bring in the female variants of characters, but not worrying about them being redundancies.
Or even, doesn't even have to be female variants. It could be other alternate takes, like Norman Osborn as Iron Patriot. That's just a theory.
Yeah, that would be so a game theory. That would be dope. Anyway, but so essentially, so we have Lady Loki. Now that opens the door to maybe She-Hulk, maybe Jane Foster Thor.
Yep. Now they have made it clear, Miles and Spider-Gwen are going to be separate characters.
Yeah, which they're different enough that you can justify that, like particularly with like Miles having the electric powers.
Yep, and Gwen. Again, I do think there's enough differences they can just do, and just how she moves.
Yeah, so there's enough there that's like.
But Lady Loki, she's identical to Loki.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like with Lady Thor again, identical to Thor, and maybe the skin has like alternate powers or something like that. But
no, I don't think the skins don't change the power; they just change vocals.
All right. Well, anyway, that works. So it at least allows you. Because again, when Robert and I were talking about this, we were like, okay, so if they wanted to add these characters, how would they separate male from female Thor? This, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, you just buy the skin.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, that actually... Now, it would be also really interesting if they allowed it so if you're using the male and female skin, you can have two Thors.
Nope, unfortunately, no.
Yeah, dang it. All right. But anyway, at least at the very least, this allows you to have to add more characters without adding more characters, if that makes sense.
It does. And again, more voice acting and all that.
Yeah, exactly. And again, so we could have She-Hulk, but make it pretty. It would be simple enough and you can have it where she still turns back into Jen and stuff. Tevia, I think Jessica Drew, if they added Jessica, she would be a separate character. She is very different from Spider-Man.
Yeah, Jessica Drew has very different powers.
By the way, the one skin that I am definitely going to purchase is when they finally add Captain Marvel, when they add her Ms. Marvel costume. I'm buying that. That will forever be my thing.
That's going to probably be one of her earliest.
That will forever permanently be my skin because that is Pete Carroll. But anyway, it's like, see, but it's like with that's the easiest way that you can like, that you can add these characters without worrying about them being redundant, because that's the problem with like I was gonna say Falcon Cap, but that doesn't add
too different.
Yeah, exactly.
He'd have his wing. Now Bucky Cap. No, wait.
And
Bucky Cap. Would Bucky Cap just be a different skin for Bucky or for Cap?
I would say Cap. And by X-Men Superfan, thanks for gifting 5 memberships. That's awesome. Thanks, man. But anyway, yeah, I think because he's still through the shield, I think it would be that. I mean, I'm going off of the fact that it wouldn't add any powers. That's the thing. Because otherwise, I would say, yeah, just do it as like a skin of Bucky. But then again, it's like he has unless you want the shield just to be for show or something like that.
True.
But it's like regardless. But that'll be. But the best again. The key part about this is okay. Now this has opened Robert is right. This is a game changer. This opens the door significantly to so many other characters that we could get.
Yep, and I gotta say it. Also, something else is going to some people annoy. She's taller.
Oh boy.
She is taller than male Loki.
Oh wow. That is well. Isn't it like female Loki is just Loki's spirit in Sif's body?
In one version it is, in others it's not.
Oh, okay. I was because I know at least one version is he just happened to inhabit the body of Sif.
Well, by the way, congrats, Pika.
Hey, thanks, man. And congrats, man. I mean. So anyway, yeah. So all in all, pretty dope. I'm looking forward to.
I want Lady Thor next. I want Lady Thor next.
Yes, please. And again, that's a skin that unless they did you have to buy Loki?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna buy.
It's 20. Well, depending on which version you go for, or if you have it with the emote bundle, of which one of the emojis, not emotes, but the emojis, is good boy. They know their audience. They know their audience.
Yeah.
So you're having her pet going, good boy. You're like, oh.
And NJ asked, is Loki a woman to an accurate Norse mythology? I think the thing
Loki has taken female forms.
Yeah, because he is like a god of tricks and stuff. He has done that as like a disguise and stuff. So yeah, technically yes. So I'll give you that. That's a.
And that's the right thing. JMS was the first to give us Lady Thor and Loki.
And it was drawn so well by Olivia Coipel.
Yep, like I said, yeah, at that point it was just simply hiding in Sif.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's like awesome stuff. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what characters they add in, and that's gonna be awesome.
And yeah, you know how with each skin they say what their first appearance was? For hers, it is the Lady Loki appearance in JMS's run.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Now here's the other one last thing. The other reason why she's taller is because if you actually look, regular Loki hunches.
Okay, Tavia, what do you mean by who was the first for female Thor?
Oh.
You mean for first appearance?
Technically, what if? Technically, what if?
I was about to say, technically, it's the what if Jane Foster became Thor.
Technically, that was the first. There was also Thor Girl.
Yeah, but if you're talking about Jane Foster, like the Thor girl that the Lady Thor that we know, it was Jason Aaron's Thor.
Yeah.
But so
I'm curious on what they will acknowledge whenever that inevitably happens. Do they acknowledge what if? Or the Mighty Thor?
I think what they'll do is the Mighty Thor will be the base, and then the other skins will probably be like the what if stuff.
No. Well, first of all, it's only going to be its own skin. I'm saying, because they mentioned what the first appearance was.
Honestly, I would go with the Jason Aaron one, since that's the one that the audience will be most familiar with. Right.
And yes, Tevye, Thor Girl was a thing. And it's not, and you know what? Actually, there was one other time Thor became a woman. That was in Earth X.
Oh yeah, and NJ, that I don't know. I know that the MCU made him gender fluid, which that worked for that.
He still is. Even in the comics, he is.
Okay, he still is. So yeah, I mean.
Now remember, the Loki we've been following since Siege is a reincarnation.
Yeah, because that Loki got blown up.
Yeah, no, he got vaporized by the void.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so everything going forward has been a reincarnation, and so you can accept that he is gender fluid.
Yeah, so I'm like, with that type of and then NJ asked about Norse mythology. I'm not sure about that. That I don't know.
I don't know.
I think the whole like gender identity didn't really play a role into storytelling back then.
Not really.
But all in all, this opens the door to a lot of really great stuff. But so let's move on to actually, you know what? Since we're talking about Thor, so the Doomsday trailer started coming out, and let me tell you this. Let's start with the Thor one. It is so good to actually hear good Thor again.
Mm-hmm.
Because essentially, the Russos released a trailer, and then they go, when a threat is so big, it makes a god pray for strength.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, he just wants to pray that he can survive the battle. And I'm like, obviously, it's against Doom, but I'm like, it's just hearing. Here's the thing. It still acknowledges, obviously, that Thor 4 happened because the girl is there. However, the tone is back to Infinity War Thor, the peak Thor.
Yep.
It's a wasted opportunity, Robert. If they don't have him say Doom, I would have words with you.
Mm-hmm.
It is a wasted opportunity if they don't say that.
Mm-hmm.
But so what do you think of the trailer, Robert?
Just a sec.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just swallowing something. Give me a moment.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
I enjoyed it. I thought, yes, hearing Hemsworth again talking that serious tone once again, I really liked.
Yeah, it's not doing the whole Deadpool-ish version of Thor that Taika was going for. It's like, it feels like Marvel learned their lesson from Taika Waititi, and I'm like, thank you. Everything seems to be slow as hell, but healing back together.
Now, or at least give us a good send-off.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting? NJ brings up a good point. So this is how, in a trailer, you can tell me that this threat is massive when gods are praying for strength.
But yeah, I think we will, like you told me before we got started, we'll get Odin for Thor.
Yeah, because if he's praying, because he says praying for the strength of our forefathers, I'm like, oh, because for those who don't know, okay, Robert, tell the audience how powerful Odin Force Thor is.
Like probably the most powerful being in the Marvel universe, that besides Eternity.
Yeah, so it's like all the level. You thought Thor's power up in Infinity War was massive. That makes it look like a puddle jump.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have no idea what we're in for, because if that's that, and I could see like his ending is. He uses the Odin Force to reform Asgard,
Mm-hmm.
like the actual Asgard.
And I can so see he gives his daughter the hammer, and she can take over not the mantle, but the position.
Yeah, and then obviously the MCU reboots, and then we just move on from that. But it's like that way, and his ending is he becomes king of Asgard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of ways you can do that. So then we got another trailer that leaked. All right, this one, it's the X-Men trailer, and we see Professor Xavier in the wheelchair. We see
Magneto.
yeah, and then we see Cyclops, Marston Cyclops, in the '97 costume.
Well, variation of it, but yes.
With Sentinel.
So in other words, he did yellow spandex.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And by the way, NJ says, I think Owen's father was Boar, right?
Yes.
And NJ, it's both, but both in Marvel lore and in actual.
Basically, here's something I remember: Kirby and Simonson both incorporate a lot more of Thor's lore into the MCU, into the Marvel comics.
Yeah, and NJ, okay, so the way I kind of describe those two runs on Thor, particularly the Simonson run, they are the George Perez Wonder Woman for Thor.
Even though Simonson was also the one who got rid of Donald Blake.
Yeah, but in my mind, but what I mean by that is the Thor that everything is really built off of.
Oh yeah. And by the way, Simonson's first issue introduced Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah, and then Tavia says, given it was leaked, I have a question. Who's leaking these trailers and why? I have no idea who's leaking it.
No, I see people who are recording them while seeing Avatar.
Yeah, probably. Or it could also be, and John Campy has brought this up, it could also be Marvel themselves leaking the trailers to build hype.
Probably because they also know people are not, I think they probably realize people are not going to just go see Avatar just for the trailer.
Yeah, and releasing multiple versions of the trailer is not going to make people see a 3.5-hour movie 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like just hype people up, and it's working because and the shot of like Cyclops taking off the blinder and just blasting his vision. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the Cyclops that 97 gave. I also love how people were like upset that Bo DeMeo was talking about in recent years, particularly 97, Cyclops is cool now. So of course all the other people were like, well, Cyclops was always cool. It wasn't you. And I go, And I go, no, 97 is what made people. I distinctly remember people saying when 97 was coming out, oh, Cyclops is cool now.
They got reminded. Well, they reminded people he was once cool.
Yeah, it reminded people that, and it got the comic people to say, oh, yeah, exactly. There was people that thought he was, because Cyclops suffered from a similar issue as Superman, where like he was
white bread. He was white bread.
Exactly, he was the white bread X-Men, and it's like when they tried to give him edge, you got terrible Cyclops.
You got he who should not be named Cyclops.
Yeah.
Actually, to be fair, I don't even blame he who should not be named. You know who I blame? No. You know who I blame? Aaron!
Oh, yeah, because of...
He's the one who did Schism! Why? Because he did not like Cyclops. He was the one who, even when he who should not be named was co-writing parts of the story during one of the events they were doing. It's like they're trying to worry about this big threat. And yet, in Aaron's issue, what do you always make sure? Wolverine and Storm would be like, you're evil! You're evil! You're almost as bad as Hitler!
Yeah, it's like Jargon brings up, they turn him into Injustice Superman. Yeah, exactly. Avengers X-Men, he turns into the rule of the world!
And then Charles Soule then decided, oh, what was this horrible thing he did? He negated the Terrigen myth, which was which affecting mutants like a peanut allergy. Sorry, I hate the digging about Soule.
Well, let me put it this way. Sewell's good at Superman and Wonder Woman. He's hit and miss at Marvel, except for Darth Vader and Daredevil. Anyway, Jargon says, which character annoys you more in Injustice, Superman and Wonder Woman? Wonder Woman, because justifiably, Wonder Woman should not have acted like Cersei.
Yep.
It's more Wonder Woman because here's the thing. While Wonder Woman is not necessarily as seen as like portrayed as evil as Superman and like the pop culture, like with Homelander and stuff, it's like, why would you do that? Yeah, Death of X was a garbage story, and then we also had X-Men versus Inhumans. So it's like, it's just people forget there was a time period of X-Men where it was all you thought
before they bought Fox, before they bought Fox, yeah, because it was basically a big. We got to get rid of them. We can't get rid of the X-Men, but we want to get rid of the X-Men.
Remember in He Who Must Not Be Named X-Men, where Beast decided, I'm going to remind Scott about who he is, so I'm just going to take the X-Men from the past and put them in here. Even though if they die, guess what? The other people get wiped from continuity.
Yep, and then it was later said, oh, they've been here so long, it kind of changes, and then they keep going back and forth on that.
Yeah, it's so bad.
And then of course, Bobby, you're gay.
Yeah, I was about to say that's literally the other part of it. I'm like, so.
And you know what their justification was, right? Oh, he didn't want to bang Jean in the early issues, even though he was the youngest.
Well, here's the other thing. So they literally gave Marvel an out. If Marvel ever wanted to reverse it, they won't. Let me be clear. But if they ever wanted to do it, they could just say it was young Jean's mind whammy.
You do know that's something that even your boy Zach once said long ago.
Yeah, I know, but it's like that would be like the most hilarious way to do it. To be clear, Marvel specifically will never do that. But
because the implications alone.
Yeah, but I'm like, if they want the out is there if like someone came in, took over Marvel, cleaned out all the activists and said, okay, let's play.
Yeah, but it's been going for so long.
Yeah, they could just say, okay, you can't write him as a stereotypical gay guy. Just write him as a character.
Well, that's one thing I do give the Hickman, the Krakoa era. They did remove a lot of that.
Thank God.
They just wrote him as, yes, he's with guys, but he's still Bobby.
Yeah, good. Which also, yeah, exactly. There were a lot of bad X-Men stories. So, but anyway, it's like it's great to see Cyclops finally getting his due because I wanted to. Cyclops
he got screwed except for the first X-Men movie. He got screwed out of the other ones.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because
and Logan, stay away from my girl.
Well, because remember, it's also he left in 3. Because he thought he was going to be a big deal in the Superman movies.
Well, no. He was willing to do both, but here's the reason. No, that's actually not the reason why. That originally, they were going to be like, him and Singer were going to say, we'll come back and do it. We will do it. But nope, Fox decided to be all jilted. So they said, not only are we going to do it, we're going to get it out before your movie. So they had to rush it.
Oh.
If they had waited, it would have been fine. But no, they had to rush it out.
That makes sense. That makes sense. But yeah, but that
just to spite. Just for spite.
That sounds like what they would do. But yeah, but it is great to finally see like this version of X-Men finally get to be a badass, even if it's just for like a second, even if it's just a cameo and then he gets killed off. Just to see him have that badass moment, he tears off the goggles and just lets loose his blast. And I love where some people were trying to say that DeMeo should not have called out Gail Simone for calling it heat vision. And they're like, it's sad when he's calling out an actual X-Men writer. And I go, one of the worst ones? Yeah.
I know. I can name worse.
Right now?
You mean currently writing or period?
Currently, because there are plenty of worse writers, period. Bro.
I'll be honest. Most of the run in general is not that good.
Yeah, but also, this is also the run where people were accusing Gail Simone of being xenophobic. I'm pretty sure you shouldn't go off of what Gail Simone is saying about the X-Men.
Yep, and then there was people who were afraid, but apparently didn't have to worry, that she was going to get rid of Rogue's southern accent.
Yeah, this is the woman that said that she wants to see Wonder Woman throw her period pads at a villain. Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, call her out at all times. At all times, call her out.
Anyway.
Anyway, back to this. It's like it is again. All this does. See, this is how you build up hype because it's like you release all these small character focused trailers, and then it's like
then we'll get the full trailer.
Then we get the full trailer. Exactly. That's
so we got one more. We got the Doom trailer, and then finally we'll be getting the full trailer.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's transition over to another topic. DC had a great year in terms of the sales.
Oh, yeah.
Because they dominated all of the top charts with
the exception of like an Image book and a Marvel book. Yeah.
Well, look this way. The other Marvel book was Marvel DC. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that one makes sense. So I'm
because it's the Marvel side.
Well, yeah, but still, it's like I expected that one would sell pretty well.
DCKO so, but Absolute Flash is what surprised me.
Yeah, me too. DCKO #1 I knew was going to sell well because of the blind bags. Those always do well. But again, to your point, Absolute Flash.
Out of all of them, it trumped. Now I'll get this. Absolute Batman #15 with Joker, not a surprise.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, yeah, okay.
Wasn't the Wonder Woman issue also on there?
I think so.
But the fact is, that just came out just recently, and yet that quickly shot up to the top 10.
Well, that was the #1 selling book last week.
But you get what I'm talking about? Absolute, Batman #15. Yeah, the fact that shot up to the top 10 of the year.
Yeah, exactly. And Teladia, you have the link. If you want to join, hop in. But yeah, that's the part where I was like, again, Absolute Flash of all books. I'm like, to be
#1.
To be clear, I like Absolute Flash. I'm not like saying,
here's
oh
why.
My gosh, this sucks.
I realize why. It was the first of the second batch.
Okay, and no, Absolute Wonder Woman did sell well. One of the issues was the crossover with Batman. I think.
No. Like, you can see why.
Well, yeah, but the point is, at least it's a Wonder Woman book. That's what I'm saying. Okay, it's all good, Teladia. But yeah, I'm just saying because it's a Wonder Woman book. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
But yeah, but it is interesting to see like Marvel get their now. Marvel. See, here's the thing. I know that like I think it was Variety put out an article talking about DC is like doing all this great sales stuff. The other thing, though, Marvel still outsells DC purely, and this is one of the things I've been saying since the very beginning, purely because of the flood the market. That's why. Yep,
they flood the market. They have people who are going to buy it no matter what, and of course, they're still overall #1. Yeah. They outsell overall, even though most of their books are not even in the top 100.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't care because they know they can skew the market.
And NJ, Absolute Wonder Woman was the #1 book last year.
Yeah.
That was the #1 book.
And NJ, doesn't mean, don't be saying because it didn't reach the top 10, doesn't mean it failed. It just meant it had a lot of good and strong competition this year, and it did.
Well, here's the thing. The ICV2 sales numbers haven't come out yet. So as far as we know, it still is in the top 10.
Yeah, but as it stands by some other people's metrics.
Well, yeah, but I'm mainly going off of ICV2.
I know, but yeah, I was saying Absolute Flash. Yes, that was the very first one because the way I have all my comics ordered, it's in the order of the first issue is the first one released.
Absolute Flash, it didn't deserve to be above Absolute Wonder Woman. It's not.
It just, here's the thing. Its first issue was one of the highest of the year, yes. But that doesn't mean that just that one issue. Doesn't mean all the other issues.
Yeah, but and NJ, so Wonder Woman's still on that list.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter. It's still
Look, I would say this.
Wonder Woman is selling so well.
Look, you may have more of a case of arguing if, say, Absolute Green Lantern and Martian Manhunter also was in the top 10.
Martian Manhunter specifically.
Yeah.
But it's like, look, a Wonder Woman book that's not written by Tom King is selling up gangbusters. Let's be happy about that.
Exactly.
That's the thing. But anyway, so it's like, and yes, Tavia, flooding the market is in a lot of ways bad for the comic book industry. And here's the thing: it's why if you look at a lot of Marvel's like miniseries, 3 issues.
Yep, like what they did for Revelation, which thank God it's over now.
I'm like 3 issues.
I said, thank God it's over.
Yes. Marvel really needs to work on their events because so far it's been miss after miss after miss.
Mm-hmm.
What event came out in 2025 that was actually good?
You mean at Marvel?
I mean, at Marvel, yeah.
Yeah, because they had DCKO overall.
DC had some really good events, and just as DC will look at this and decide there's a reason we don't put our faith in Wonder Woman.
What?
No. No, they're not. It's like,
yeah, NJ, just because it didn't reach top 10, that doesn't mean anything.
And again, we don't know if it didn't reach top 10. Again, we're going by the ICV2 numbers because that's a better metric. And so far, we don't have those numbers yet.
And again, even this is the top 10 overall sales. NJ, it sounds like you're saying Wonder Woman should have dominated all slots.
Which that was never going to happen.
Yeah, that is never going to happen.
In a year where there was a Marvel DC crossover, that's never going to happen. Let me tell you that.
Exactly. I mean, so that's the thing, NJ. Be happy one of the issues made it in the top 10.
Yeah, if it's in the top 10, that's top 10 of the year.
And yet, this was like one of the last issues of the year. That should tell you something.
Yeah, it's like everyone loves Absolute Wonder Woman. Let's take this as a win, my friend. Let's take this as a win.
Exactly. Let's not call the alarm yet.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, Cameron brings up a good point. DC would be very dumb. DC is not like the internet where top 10 is the be-all, end-all. Well, yeah.
Now, it says now they're going to be happy that they have more than, like the overall 10,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're going to be happy about that.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, all right. But it's like, don't overreact. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
The point is, well done to DC and Marvel. You really need to work. You really need to.
Oh my God! I just realized Ultimate Spider-Man. Wait, what was the Marvel book besides the DC Batman?
Let me find that real quick.
Was it Ultimate? I don't think it was even Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the list. That was the okay.
Because I sent it to you. I think I sent it to you. Yep. It was. Oh, it was just the Batman, that little Batman.
Ha! None of their stuff sold.
Here's what it is. Deadpool Batman number 1. Batman number 1. Batman Deadpool number 1. Invincible Universe Battle Beast number 1. DCKO number 1. Batman 158. Absolute Batman number 15. Absolute Flash number 1. Absolute Batman number 5. And wait, I could have sworn that Wonder Woman was on the list. Wasn't that 10?
Let me see. It could have been on there.
I saw other people showing that elsewhere.
It could be that was like the top 10 for the week, the one that had Wonder Woman.
I know that could have been it. You're right.
Well, top 9. Let me see this. All right, so let me see the top 10 selling comics here. I'm gonna actually pull up the list because I don't know why people are saying top 9. I'm like, why not put the 10th in there?
Yeah, what the heck?
Why stop at 9? Why is that a thing?
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Tavia, yeah, I said what Marvel events came out last year that were like big things. Spider-Man 98 is not an event comic.
Yeah.
It's a solo series, but it's not an event comic. But
isn't it 94?
Yeah, it's 94. Yeah, exactly. But it's like ultimately, it's like Marvel just kept screwing the pooch here, and I'm like, guys, you are one of the biggest names in comics. This should not be hard.
I will say I do have faith in Armageddon.
Yeah, Armageddon.
Because it's Zdarsky.
Yeah, and overall he's been pretty fun.
And if Hulk is building up to if PKJ is building up to Age of Monsters, that's going to be an event. You know it.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to find it, NJ. I'm trying to find that list. It's just Rich makes it really hard to find it. Comics. All right, but yeah, it's like okay. See all comic stories. It's like it's like okay. Top. Oh wow, he just counted 9.
Really?
Why would you do this? Why not make it 10?
Oh, by the way, we didn't talk about the Wonder Man trailer.
Oh, yeah. I did not watch that, but that's one where I'm like, I do think it's kind of interesting. So it's like the Hollywood has now banned like superpowers in movies. So is that like their way of commenting on the banning AI?
Possibly.
I would imagine so. Hey, what's up, Hunter? How you doing? But yeah, that's actually really cool, and that's the show where I'm like, I'm not that hyped for because I'm like, why is this a thing?
Agreed.
I don't get how much you want to bet it will be Marvel's show blasting people for being upset about a race swap because remember he's taking over a role from a white actor in that show. In other words, the show that the superhero that he's auditioning for was a white guy.
Yep.
So I'm like, I know the way Marvel acts. But anyway, yeah, so I think that's a good place to transition to our next topic. Let's go to so
we got one more.
Yeah, we got one more. All right, so here's the thing. Superman enters the public domain in a few years. So
8 years.
8 years. It's not happening now. But
currently we have Betty Boop, Pluto, the Disney character Pluto, and Nancy Drew.
But what Robert I want to talk about is what's going to happen when Superman goes in the public domain. And now, let's be clear.
Keep in mind this does not mean they won. They do not lose the trademark. And
let's be clear. Only the Action Comics #1 Superman, everything in Action Comics #1, that's what's up for debate.
Well, everything that came out was in that year of Action Comics, but yes.
Yeah, it's not, and it's the same thing with Wonder Woman and Batman. It's not like all of a sudden all of Batman, all of Superman is public domain.
For example, it's like how Mickey Mouse, it's only Steamboat Willie. Now, as each year goes on, they'll add more and more to it, but for the first year, it's just Steamboat Willie. Just like here. This one, it'll just be Superman. The original costume, Lois, the Daily Star, and parts of the origin. And Clark Kent.
anyone on the internet that is trying to tell you that it or represents it like all of Superman will be up for grabs is lying to you.
Yeah, it's going to take you. It's still going to take a number of years before it catches up to all of that.
Yeah, exactly. So what this means, I guarantee you what's going to happen is that the crew behind Blood and Honey are going to make a Superman horror film.
But they got to call it something else. They can't. That's the funny thing, though. DC has been smart. They have the trademark of all the variations.
They could call
Man of Steel. They can't say Man of Steel. They can't say Man of Tomorrow. They can't say Superman. They can't say Action Comics. They'll have to say something like Big Blue.
Yeah, or Red Cape.
Or something like that. They're going to have to dance their way around it. But even then, there's still some things they can't do. Like, also, they can't do the heat vision.
Yeah, because Superman did not have that. They can't even have him fly.
No, they could have him leap tall buildings in a single bound. No kryptonite. Kryptonite's still not there.
No frost breath.
No super breath can kind of work.
But no frost breath.
But yeah, the freezing breath, no.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, he can only do John Carter of Mars feats.
Yeah, and then Karen says, honestly, this confused me. Shouldn't they disallow him from going to public domain, even if he is Action 1?
No, you can't. That's public domain is a legal precedent. Now, Disney kept it stretched out for as long as they could, but there's no way you can stop it unless you get an extension, through the courts. You cannot stop public domain.
I guarantee you, DC. Is there a way that DC can renew it?
No.
Oh, so it's permanently.
It is a permit. Look, what do you think? Do you really think Disney would have let Steamboat Willie go into public domain if they could have?
What you're telling me is I can make a Lois Lane horror film.
Yeah, theoretically, yes, but you couldn't put her name in the title.
Oh, I wouldn't.
But dude, you wouldn't be able to get anyone to know what it's about.
Oh, trust me, my audience would know. NJ says, can the Martians who have half the rights have a say in freeing Wonder Woman IP? I don't think so.
No. Their contract would only still apply to DC.
Yeah, it's a different entity, NJ. Good question though, but it's a different entity, particularly with Wonder Woman, because we'll leave it to Wonder Woman.
We still got a long way to go before that's public domain.
Mm-hmm.
We're like Superman's at 8 years. We got more years than that. Batman's at 9 years though.
Mm-hmm.
So Wonder Woman, I think it's like 10 or 11 years.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, when it does go public domain, though, basically, like I said, it's going to be restricted, very restricted. But regardless, DC's going to and Warner Bros. Are going to have the trademarks for everything. That's going to make it very difficult to get something out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of public domain, I am curious about something. We're assuming going public domain. How long will Flash take? I have no idea.
Flash even longer.
Yeah,
because remember, it would be the Jay Garrick Flash anyway.
That doesn't mean she will. Like this way, she's never going to be free of DC's clutches. NJ, never.
No, yeah, NJ, that's not how it works.
And not even because here's the thing:
they still own the trademark. They still own the trademarks.
Well, here's the thing. Let's say it happened. Let's say she's free from evil DC. That means that Kelly Thompson can't write her. Do you really want that?
Well, no. Once it goes public domain, does not mean DC loses it.
No. I'm going by NJ's terms. Let's say DC lost Wonder Woman. Kelly Thompson would not be able to write her. You would get no new Wonder Woman stories.
Not until someone else got the rights.
Which, that's going to be like the companies that could afford it are either Marvel and DC. And honestly, you do not want Marvel writing Wonder Woman. Trust me, you do not. That is the biggest. They would
definitely then queer her up and everything just to point an agenda.
And not only that, they would make her the biggest man hater of all. And don't know. First off, NJ, Image is not a singular. Image is a publisher. Which company? Under Image.
Yeah, that's the thing. Image is not its own entity. It's just a bunch of secondary imprints.
what happens is the other companies, like let's say Spawn is like McFarlane Studios.
Yeah,
Wait. Todd makes the comic, and then Image distributes it. That's all it does.
Just look at Jeff Johns with Ghost Machine.
It's like, let me put it this way: if I wanted to have my book done by Image, what that does is Dark Horse, Dynamite, Boom. You don't want any of those handling Wonder Woman because none of them have the talent. And here's the thing:
Dynamite might, but even then, they don't have the cost to be able to afford it.
And here's the thing: they do not have the cachet to get people to come over.
Exactly.
Trust me, it would not lead to what you think it is. And plus, for all you know, guess what? All of those companies you named, NJ, could be worse.
For example, Dynamite, it's a toss-up. It could do well, but it could also just be they just overly turn up the sex appeal.
Well, let me put it this way: have you seen Red Sonja?
Well, yeah.
You think Wonder Woman is objectified now?
Yep.
Red Sonja
or Vampirella.
Exactly. It's like, you trust me, if you complain about Wonder Woman being objectified by DC, Skybound is not the one you want.
Skybound, no.
No, exactly.
Here's the other thing, Tabby. Valiant, well, it's its own separate company. It now can only be distributed a few issues at a time now through IDW.
Yeah, and again, IDW you do not want under with any, because IDW has routinely destroyed their IP because Santos is in charge of that.
No, hey, John Universe is still that's Image. Ninja Turtles is still good. Sonic is still good.
Okay, there are a few good things, but the point is, it's a bigger gamble. It's more of a guarantee that we'll have good Wonder Woman writers at DC. That's all. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Yeah,
eventually we will have better writers on the main book.
Because let me put it this way: let's say King is probably going to leave. Image did a great here with Spawn, though. That was here's the thing, NJ. Spawn's popularity came at a very specific time.
And again, that's under McFarlane's imprint. Yeah, you need someone. Here's the thing, NJ. You would need someone to get the rights, be able to afford the rights, and then come up with ideas and bring it to Image for Image to do it.
Yeah, that's the way. You would need like Skybound or like McFarlane Studios, and they're not going to do it. But it's like, let me put it this way: I'm going to make a prediction. I do predict that during 2026, he'll either leave Wonder Woman or we'll get the announcement. And then let me put it this way: of the DC's current stable of writers, the ones that would realistically get the shot are decent writers of their own or have written Wonder Woman or are gods like Jeremy Adams.
Yes, exactly.
You can only go up from here. Let me put it that way.
Well, again, some exceptions.
That's what I said. Realistically would get the book, because I still say, like, there are some writers that, come to mind, but I doubt DC would give them that assignment.
That's true.
If they did, then I'm gonna be pissed. But
NJ, we're telling you how the industry works.
Yeah, it's like trust me. And again, I want to stress this: Image, the companies that make up Image would have to buy it, and none of them have the money to afford Wonder Woman.
That's the thing. I think that's probably the other reason why it's similar to the milestone with DC saying. Everyone keeps associating the character stuff with DC. It's like you're kind of locked in now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those cases where it's like they know they can't take it anywhere else.
And here's the thing: Wonder Woman done by anyone other than DC is not going to be Wonder Woman. It wouldn't be the same character.
It wouldn't.
Because also, you would never see her cross. You think Wonder Woman doesn't cross over with like Superman now? She would never cross over with any DC characters ever again.
And here's something else. Also, you can't say that they on the Marthas follow the contract. They'd have to do a whole new contract, and there ain't no way that the other studios are going to probably give them as much of liberties. Yeah, and then you know what's going to happen? You could get crappy Wonder Woman projects straight up, and then Wonder Woman becomes the character that everyone laughs at. And they start just chugging it out. Like, you'll get all the stuff you wanted, but it's going to be lesser quality. Like, we'll get mobile games.
Hey, man, what's up?
Flame on. How's everybody doing tonight?
Hey, dude.
Please explain how Image works.
Well, as a company or in terms of the
As a company.
Okay, Image as a company is to give an alternative other than the big two, mainly. But if you really want it from a business standpoint, Spawn doesn't, Image in general doesn't really go out of their way. They don't collaborate with anyone. Like, where do you want? Where I mean, there's so many avenues I could explain.
Okay.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. The way Image works is each of the companies with it, it's a conglomeration of different companies, and then essentially Image is just like the distributor and like
it's the umbrella.
It's the umbrella of all that.
Yes, it's a conglomerate.
They just have the Image eye on there. That way, you know it's coming from this conglomerate.
They're publishing art. They're the publisher. Everyone else actually develops it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's basically in house.
Yeah, exactly. It's like with the new The Darkness issue. By the way, great comic. You have Top Cow is the actual company that made the comic, that like wrote and drew the comic. Image is just the distributor. That's all it is.
Yeah, they get a bit of a financial cut from it, but otherwise, and probably a bit from the merch too.
Yeah. So Jay, now that we have you here, we might as well revisit a few of these topics. What did you think of the Thor trailer for I almost said Endgame, Doomsday?
I'm not surprised they're writing nostalgia. It could either go really well or really bad. It just depends.
I got to clarify something for Cameron. Sorry, I want to do it before we forget.
Yeah, good. Sure, good.
No, they can have a shared universe. That's one thing, NJ. There can be a shared universe if they all agree to, which for many of them, they can. But that mostly applies to the original founding one, the main owners, the people actually own or have a stake in Image as a whole.
And when they tried to do a shared universe, it fell apart.
Well, yeah, but it still exists. Mostly with Bomb Queen.
Yeah, I know. I read that. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, give it a couple more issues, Jared. You'll eventually see even Invincible it coexists.
That's kind of cool. I like that.
But yeah, like I said, it's more of a case of when they are in agreement of the other heroes existing.
And trust me, the Image founders don't agree on a lot. Let me put it to that way.
Okay, but anyway, back to what you were saying.
Anyway, so Jay, isn't it nice tonally that we don't have the Waititi Thor anymore?
Yeah, they tried to make that a whole thing for synergy, and it just didn't work.
Yep. And Jay, what do you think about Lady Loki in Rivals?
I mean, as a skin, it's all right. It's a question.
But doesn't it open doors though?
Yeah, I mean, especially when you go by the mythology, version. So I'm more indifferent to it than anything.
Well,
what I ask guys? This opens the door for them doing other gender swap skins,
such as Jane Foster Thor
or She-Hulk.
I'm surprised those two weren't included already, but that's another conversation.
Well, it's because, particularly with Jane Foster, she would be kind of redundant to male Thor. So it's like, how do you make that different?
Yeah, but that's why doing a skin will help that out. But I think it's also a case of getting the lines recorded. Like for Lady, here's what I think is. I think because Lady Loki, they auditioned, the actors already doing magic did it, so they're like, oh, good, we're still keeping it in-house, so they were able to get it out quick. I think getting some of the others, no one has probably passed the audition for the other ones, so now they're actually having to find someone to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I'll give you that. So what do you also think about the DC completely destroying Marvel in terms of sales in 2026?
That's because Marvel's been on a steady. Say what you will about the MCU and the larger synergy and all that, but Marvel sales has been a relative decline. I would say since 2022. I'll be generous. Since 2022, it's just been a consistent decline. They had MCU momentum, and it's just not what it used to be. Even Rob Liefeld called them out recently in an interview, and he made some good points. I won't go into too much detail because I want you to look up the article for yourself. But he had some great points about even some of the reasons I fell off of Marvel. Like, this is just redundant. How do you make How do you make the X-Men boring? How do you make Doctor Doom boring? Like, I've seen so many examples of these past years alone.
I know. The only good books I still say that are going on are Thor and Hulk.
I'll say Iron and Frost is pretty decent. The Emma Frost
Uh,
series is pretty good.
One was both were minis, and one was tied into a horrible event.
That is very true. That is well.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have that stink over that. You're gonna have it. Yep.
To each point. I have a friend of mine that knows nothing about comics. So I told him, okay, so I'm going to pitch you an idea for a story. Doctor Doom takes over the world. And I said, here's how you know Marvel screwed up. They made that boring. How do you make that boring?
The only thing that succeeded was the ending.
Yeah, I know. But it's like, even beyond that, I'm like, how? It's Marvel, but it's kind of funny. Literally, the only Marvel book that was on that top 9 list was Marvel DC for obvious reasons.
Yes. It was a desperate move. And One World Under Doom, because I did pick up for the event recently, just to see what I fell off early on. But it's basically you turn it into an overarching debate. Oh, even with Doom 2099, like this is a self-fulfilled prophecy. All these great ideas, but you can't see it through. And it's
because they're locked. I bet you it was a case of status quo, the editorial fighting. It's like they approved it, but then said you can only do this, this, and this. Mm-hmm. You want to bet that's what happened?
Yeah, I bet you.
Okay, if I had to be completely optic, for lack of a better term, about this, ever since that we went from Kang Dynasty to Doomsday, I mean, it was all going to lead to Secret Wars.
Kang Dynasty.
That was the original thing that Doomsday was supposed to be.
Yeah, Phase 6 Avengers movie.
Oh! You're talking about the movie. Sorry.
Yes. After that, everything was course corrected. Everything had to be overhauled, and because now the comics, at least for Marvel, I'm not going to say this for DC, it's not as bad, but with Marvel, comics are just the IP farm, and they don't. In the comics, is more so just carryover synergy for the movies, and that is a decent enough business. And I'm only saying this objectively. This is before the MCU. If anything, this writer-focused business model has really been in the big two in the comics industry as a whole since the early 2000s.
Yep, all because thanks to Image kind of putting the stink on the artist focus.
Which, to be fair, the big two were screwing them over.
Yep, but I would say now, there are some cases again where the writer stuff, again, PKJ on Hulk and Al Ewing on Thor has been giving some really fresh stuff. Mm-hmm. Especially PKJ on Hulk. I mean, he's building up to the Age of Monsters.
Which I think is pretty cool. He's turned Hulk back into a horror book. I appreciate that.
I mean, now to be fair, Ewing did that already, but he made it even more so.
Yeah, and I appreciate that because, again, it's like when I'm reading a Hulk book, it doesn't feel like the typical Hulk book, and that's a good thing. That's the key thing here. Tevye says, honestly, I hate to say it, but Marvel Comics needs a major restart of the entire. They're never going to do that, Tevye.
They're never. They've been priding themselves too much on we never reboot.
It's too much baked into their identity that they'll never do a reboot. The last time they had the opportunity to do that was Secret Wars by Hickman.
Yep, and they didn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Cameron says, also question, but where is Doom again? Is he a hero, villain, anti-hero,
anti-villain?
He switches.
Well, now he's a villain.
Oh, he's a villain.
Well, currently he's dead, but with a back door open.
Yeah, but let me put it this way. In terms of morality, he's a villain. He is very much a villain.
He is definitely a villain. But, you know what? One thing I hope Ewing will... Here, I got to ask you, dude. How much have you been keeping up with the current Thor?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm pretty up. I haven't read the most recent issue yet.
Here's the question. Do you think there's at all a way of redeeming Donald Blake? Or do you think Kate screwed him over so much that the only thing you could do is just keep pushing harder?
Honestly, I would say...
Because Ewing is clearly just going full steam ahead.
Honestly, I think we're kind of done with Donald Blake.
Yeah.
That's my opinion at the very least.
But I'm saying the fact that he's now full-blown villain, he's now the current Serpent.
Which, again, I like that storyline, so I could be biased on that.
Oh, yeah, and again, I'm not against it at all, just...
Yeah, but it's like, okay, that's fine. But yeah, but in terms of like, and Tavia says, what was the backdoor about Doom?
Oh no! And then there's always a back door to bring him back.
Yeah, there is. But yeah, but it's like overall, again, it's always it's nice being a DC fan now. It's kind of funny how when Marvel's up, DC is down, and when DC is up, Marvel's down. I really they can never both be doing amazingly. It seems.
True.
That's the sad part about Big Two comics politics.
The last time they were both amazing was, I think, Civil War and Infinite Crisis.
I would say so. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, mid 2000s.
Speaking of villains, that reminds me. How long do you think Norman Osborn will stay a hero? That's not going to last that long.
Still going on. I thought they'd been reverted that.
No, he never reverted back.
Huh? They're actually making that stick.
Here's the thing. I think, and there's one thing why I'm not against it. They are still trying to see that through as long as they can before they finally put that cat back in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it's a case where they know once they put it back, no one's ever going to touch that idea again, and they're trying to mine it as much as they can.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying it's a bad idea.
Oh no, not at all. I mean, especially with some. I feel like that only.
I think people trash on it too much during the Wells. Sorry.
I feel like that scratches the surface of a much larger issue, because I'm not saying this ties back to One More Day, but this was like the root. But this is where people started taking notice. But Peter they keep reverting Spider-Man, or Peter Parker specifically, back to the same quippy 15 man. I'm not gonna say man child, but they keep regressing him. And that further makes Miles Morales redundant, because you already have the standard, you already have the original Spider-Man, and then that gives less opportunity for Miles, because you have him competing with the legacy man child that the higher ups will never really deviate from. I'm not saying you should kill Peter off, but actually let Peter mature, and that was one of the big highlights of the new Ultimate Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
agree.
Now, whether you want to say MJ is toxic, I mean, depending on, that's a completely different conversation. But at the end of the day, that's the biggest hurdle, and especially for Spider-Man being Marvel's biggest character. It's just they don't want Peter to grow, because they don't want to lose the relativity factor with Peter. Miles, what aspects other than strictly his power set deviates him from a version of Peter?
That's a good point. I would talk about Norman being a good guy.
And by the way, NJ asked if Hickman hates gods and mythologies. No, he does not. That I'm going to be very clear about that. The man does not. NJ is going off of the fact that he wrote like a God is Dead comic series, and man, he badly butchered every god from Greek and Norse. He wrote Thor masterfully.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he hates gods and mythologies, NJ. Which is
it's just a story. He was just telling a story.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he hates gods. I mean, he has his parents grow up in Harlem. Yeah, exactly. But it's like the thing about the thing about it is, like with Spider-Man particularly, I think it's more of an issue where a lot of the writers and like the editorial people, like well, let's say back in the day it was Brevoort. Well, actually, no, but it was Quesada, are nostalgic for the Spider-Man that they grew up in.
Silver and Bronze Age.
Exactly. And they want to force that on people. Like, oh, no, Spider-Man can never be married and have kids and stuff. The way Spider-Man was when I was a kid. What do you want to say, Robert?
I would say that, again, it's one of the big things. You still got it. I hate to bring this up, but it's because compared to the marriage of Superman and Lois, the marriage of Peter and MJ was forced.
Mm-hmm.
It was done as a gimmick, kept going. They got lucky they had some writers who were willing to do it, but they had other writers who still held that as a protest, either because they prefer him with Gwen or they prefer he never get married. And unfortunately, it led to this whole perpetual belief of Peter has to never settle down, ever.
Now, the only one I will say is a highlight is Black Cat. I don't agree how they ended up doing it, but Black Cat is always Felicia Hardy. Black Cat is always going to be Peter's rebound girl. That's just an objective truth.
Oh
So-
yeah.
So giving her a new pairing or a new relationship outside of that, hey, that's a good first step. Gives Felicia some agency, rather than just being a foil for every time. Rather than
And it
just
could be a boy or a girl.
yeah, it doesn't matter. I just wish they set it up better, but it really doesn't matter.
It's funny that they put the two back together and they did nothing with it. Then they broke them apart.
Yeah, and Barry Tevia asks, how long is the current Spider-Man editorial going to be in charge? I have no idea.
Tevia, the editorial is not going anywhere. I hate to say that. They're not going anywhere.
It's really never going to change. Do you think a hard reboot is going to happen in the near future
With
for
DC.
DC? Not. I would say let's wait and see. Now, DC has been selling pretty well. It's still not like great. And with like a merger coming up now, again, Netflix has said they're going to keep the two companies separate. So there is that's a consideration. They could not saying will, could tell DC, can you improve your sales? And then inevitably down the line, they could say, get to where they were after before Flashpoint and say you either have to improve your sales or we're going to start to make drastic decisions.
Now, here's what I personally think. I think, like I've said before, it's minuscule cost compared to everything. I don't think they're going to pay much attention. I don't think they're going to be more hands off than even Warner Brothers usually is.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just saying, in the event they do get involved, that's probably what they'll do. But I don't think they're going to be as involved as people think.
Whoa, wait, what? NJ saying mainline is trash minus Batman? What?
Mainline. Are we counting Elseworlds?
Mainline DC is I will say is either bland or like not the best, except for like Green Lantern, Aquaman, and the such. There are some good titles. It's just the main. A lot of the books, at least according to other people, Robert, beyond your enjoyment, are saying it's a lot of bland stuff.
Fair enough. But I'm just saying, no, I'm just disagreeing with the trash part.
Yeah, trash part, I think is I mean, some of it is bad. I mean, Wonder Woman certainly is trash.
Yeah, well, but JLU is still good.
I would say so. But speaking of comics, it reminds me of the X-Men 97 coming out next year. New season. What's the effect of current X-Men?
No.
The animated series never do that.
No.
And again, Brevoort has made it clear his disdain.
Yeah, he doesn't like synergy, which is kind of funny, even though he does it all the time.
I think that's because he's usually forced to.
And I'm like, and now it's like,
Like, I'm still positive. The whole bringing back Null or having Hela be Queen in Black, it's because of Rivals.
Or bringing back the True Punisher.
Bring back Punisher. No, I will agree that. Yep, She-Hulk. Agree. No,
I'm sorry.
And Sentry.
And
I thought they've been brought
Hunter. We addressed that earlier in the stream.
No, we don't. I don't think we brought that one up. The Netflix part.
Oh, okay. You know what? Let's do it now. So Netflix has said that they're release. Well, it's not said. It's which source was it?
Deadline.
Deadline has indicated that they've heard that Netflix's release window for Warner Brothers movies is going to be 17 days.
That's stupid.
If that's true, Warner Brothers is going to have to severely change how they consider movie success. Because here's the thing. If they expect these movies to make like $1 billion or something like that, or like start being like really successful, they need to redefine what they think is success. Because there's no movie unless it like explodes is gonna make the money that they want it to make in 17 days.
And NJ, just to go back to about JLU, you have an event going on. He's going to utilize those characters while the main characters are off the board.
I don't blame Wade for that because he has to, because the other ones are already being used.
Exactly. And even before,
that's actually a genius way to do it because he's using the time displaced versions of those characters.
Now they're expendable, unfortunately.
They're expendable, but I'm like, okay, this will tank movies. That is what some people are saying, is that it will like tank movie theaters is really what it's saying.
My guess is they're hoping that the theater stuff will just You know, I bet you they're thinking. They think if we have a limited window, it's going to get people saying, "Well, we have to go see it before while we can."
Yeah, but what they don't realize is that with what a lot of people having like home theaters now because of COVID.
Wait for the stream. Wait for the stream release.
Wait for exactly, but particular the fact, yeah, okay, you could do that, Robert, and I agree with you on that. But the problem is, theaters are still freaking expensive.
Yep.
If we're being realistic from a business standpoint, Paramount's going to win this out because at the end of the day, the federal commission has to approve it.
I don't think it will.
Well,
Because you also got to, because if theaters decline, Hollywood has no real large term means of making money. Because streaming can only get you so far as a business model. It's a very limited business model, and you're competing with project to project.
And here's the thing, Robert. It's like if the FTC blocks the Netflix deal, which again there are indicators that they will, you can't tell me Paramount.
Right. That's true. That is true. If that happens, you are absolutely right. Also, Tevia, as far as we can see, Netflix and neither Netflix nor Paramount have any intention on screwing with Gunn like that.
Netflix particularly, Paramount hasn't really said anything. In fact, there were insiders saying, again, it's just insiders, but there were insiders saying that Paramount was not impressed, pun intended, with James Gunn's DC movie. So who knows at this point? And again, Netflix could. Now, here's the actual I think Tabby brings up a good point. Let's see how this year goes with like Lanterns, Clayface, and Supergirl. Because if those things all do well, you damn well believe they're probably going to leave them alone. If those sputter, then Netflix could go, okay, we're gonna take away your massive autonomy. You can still do your thing, but you're gonna have to go through us.
Which then won't be the point of having the studio then.
Exactly. That would be the issue there.
If I had to be, this is just my personal opinion, so take it for a grain of salt, and I could easily be wrong. But out of the current projects for 2026, I would say the weakest link. Are we counting movies and TV shows?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Outside of the standalone stuff like Starfire and the My Adventure series, because those are going to be relatively mid anyway. At least from my experience with My Adventures of Superman. But not counting those, I would say the weakest would have to be, at least knowing about what we know, is Lanterns. And the reason I say that,
why not Akara?
Supergirl, it just feels Guardians-esque. And Gunn is getting a lot of heat, like he only knows how to do one style of movie, and that's rogue, found family, rebellious films. And that structure, and it's hard. And yeah, once you find your niche, once you find something you're successful in, it's hard to break from that mold. Clayface is very ambitious because it's essentially a horror film, not only with the body horror aspects with Clayface, but also seeing Batman from a villain's point of view.
Yep.
So if they execute it well, yes, I can see Clayface being very successful if well executed. Lanterns, the biggest contention with Lanterns is that you can't make Lanterns grounded. The 2011 movie tried that, and it was horrendous, from the CGI to trying to actually use Parallax itself without even setting up the Sinestro Corps first. Green Lantern 2011 was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And
but mostly all that was on Guggenheim.
True. But I'm just saying, if I had to compare the success from Green Lantern to the success from a spinoff of the Superman franchise, I'm saying Supergirl will edge out just barely, purely because of Jason Momoa as Lobo. That's going to be a standard performance regardless.
I'll give you that.
Can we agree on that?
I'll give you that because it's Momoa as Lobo, and he does sell a lot of stuff as Lobo, as like himself. So I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll give you that. Yeah, and also adding to the fact that Lanterns is also a show, so it does have that disadvantage. But my point is, Netflix is probably going to be looking at it and saying, okay, can we afford to give them this much autonomy as we stand now? Because if we can't, then that's that.
Well, right now, here's the big thing, though. It could still be a case of Netflix likes to be like, Warner Brothers, you make the decision.
Yeah, it could very well be that as well. So it's like, let me put it this way: as we stand now, we don't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
what I'm going to say. It's like here's what I compare it to. It's let's buying them. Let's make it clear. This is not going to be like Disney with Fox where they bought and merged or and absorbed and absorbed. It's more like Netflix or Paramount, either one, are buying WB to live next door in the same condo.
Essentially, yeah.
Would you say that's a good analogy?
Mhm.
You're paying someone to live next door.
I would say that. Yeah, exactly. So yeah. So it's more of a wait and see thing on that.
Even with the federal even with the commission, at the end of the day, this boils down. We also got to take Zaslav himself into account. Is he gonna play? Is he just gonna do what Emmerich did, cut his losses, and then bail the first deal he gets approved, or is he actually trying to keep things the same? Because when Emmerich bailed, a huge corporate civil war with WB broke out.
Yeah. Here's my feeling. I feel that especially because he renewed that contract further, I do think he's the type of guy who wants to see his legacy continue forward. I don't think he's going to be like later losers. He wants to make sure that what he set up is remembered fondly.
Yeah, could be. And Tevia, is Legendary under Warner Brothers? If so, same thing applies.
Legendary is not owned by them.
They partner with Legendary, but they're not directly owned by them. I think I used to know who owns Legendary Studios. Was that the one that got bought out by Amazon?
No. I believe Legendary is still a Chinese company, I believe.
Okay, thank you for confirming that.
Mm-hmm.
But they do stuff through it, so it's more like they're in a deal.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like just wait and see. I do not know where we're at with this, but all in all, I think so far we're in a good place. But I think that's a good place to leave it. So, Robert, where can we find you? What have you got coming out, brother?
Link down below as I'm building up. I'm just one more video, one more away before I come having my 650 SPTN.
Hell yeah!
And my 4-year anniversary next week.
Congratulations, brother.
Congrats.
J Heat, how about you?
As for me, you can find me on J Heat Plays or J Heat 75. Recently, I collabed with Robert with What If Damien Was the Son of the Demon? Basically, if Damien was canonized in the 90s from the Mark Waid Son of the Demon story. We had a pretty good conversation on that. Great turnout, and I really appreciate you all for sticking by us. I might set up a response video in the future, but at least for the next week or so, I'll do Tomorrowverse retrospective for the Tomorrowverse, which probably will be tomorrow night, more than likely. I might
Tomorrowverse tomorrow night.
No pun intended. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Thank y'all so much for having me. And we have some background noise tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry.
It's all good. But as for me, movie night's gonna be Batman Assault on Arkham, and then for Super Wonder Legacy, Britt and I are gonna be talking about a Superman Wonder Woman. We're in high school, and this is gonna be a pre-recorded one, so it'll be out on Monday. And for Amazon Answers, I believe I'll probably either talk about Golden Age Wonder Woman or I'll think something. Anyway, stay at work, everyone. Remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lane. She belongs to General Zod. Zoe is the max about for life. I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.